Why did the Pride Trust go bankrupt after Pride 1997? Well, the thing is that we thought that we'd actually had a really successful event immediately afterwards. We had 237,000 in the day collection. And according to all the information we had, everything had gone to budget. And in that budget, we'd also included debt from the previous year. So we thought, and we'd also wiped out the rolled over debt from the previous Pride events. So the Pride Trust collapsed only with debts from 1997. There was no historic debt at all. We paid it off. But there were several things that were different. First of all, Bass Charrington's, their contract for 3 years had come to an end. So we didn't have their financial guarantee as we would have had during the winter. And the other thing, which was a significant thing, was that Teddy Witherington had left the organisation and gone to take over responsibility for running San Francisco Pride. So Pride was without a festival director, but because the finances looked okay, everybody assumed that there was time to recruit one. And then extra bills started arriving. So by the end of October, it was very clear that we were massively in debt. I mean, I think it was about £168,000 in bills and costs. So that 168,000 in creditors was made up of approximately 80,000 of extra expenditure on the festival, not previously notified to the directors, 40,000 of thefts from the festival site, the summer rights contract of 30,000, so we had to pay them 30,000 sponsorship, and other sundries. The problem with the 40,000 thefts from the festival site was that the site fencing on the day had not been completed and our insurance policy was invalid. And then someone who will remain nameless leaked all the internal papers to the press and it became public. So we visited a liquidator and he suggested that we should put out a call for an investor. And we did, and several proposals came forward. One of them was savaged by the gay press, and the other one, which was a very generous offer, was from Linda Riley and Jean Osborne. And we accepted that, and everything was moving in the right direction when a rival group of gay businessmen decided that they would like to run Pride. And they called themselves Pride Events UK, and they were led by a guy called Matt Williams, who was a PR consultant, ran his own business called Making Waves. So it's important just to wind back for a moment. Pride was bankrupt. It was a free event. It was probably the worst business plan that it could ever have. Of course, that's why it went bankrupt. But positively, the government had changed. And now Chris Smith, a gay man, was the Secretary of State for Culture, Media and Sport, and he was in charge of making decisions about what events went on. From the Pride survey that we did in 1997, we knew that, about half or more than half of the people who came to the event would be okay with paying a small entry charge. And I think the gay business community took note. I mean, it looked like a money spinner, Pride, and there was this bunch of amateurs and volunteers who were in the way. They just needed to get out of the way. And the organisation suddenly had a big debt after the festival in 97, and it was a perfect opportunity. Now, it seems that Pride Events UK made some offers to the gay press, business deal type offers. And so the coverage of the affair was very much slewed against the Pride Trust. An example of this would be Thud magazine, who were very upset that we didn't give them the magazine deal in 1997. The Vortex consuming the remaining rump of the old Pride Trust, and what an irony in that name, is on the verge of spitting out the last few fragments of the old guard who are still frantically attempting to cobble together some kind of, in their eyes at least, way forward by the most underhand and devious methods. Not only does this provide no opportunity for community involvement, it presents us with a fait accompli of the worst possible kind, harking back to the bad old behind closed doors days of Teddy Witherington and Adam Jeans's worst excesses. I mean, they're making me sound like Robespierre or something. So with our chosen investors, and of course our experience of organising 5 festivals, we applied to Lambeth for a licence. And guess what? The Pride Events UK people applied to Lambeth for a licence on the very same day for Pride. So 4th of July 1998. And Lambeth had both licenses and they just had to make a decision between them. Lambeth told us that we needed to have a ticketed event, and so both applications included a £5 ticket. Just as the applications were put in, Pride Events UK announced that they had appointed one of the leading concert promoters in the country as a director. That was Harvey Goldsmith. Lambeth Council never actually voted on the two applications. I think it was decided by the officers, and they decided obviously for Pride Events UK, and that was that for the Pride Trust. So it was very disillusioning for me because it was a paying event and I never wanted Pride to be a paying event. In some ways I'm sort of happy that I didn't have to organise it or be involved in it.